Hello everyone, this is Protoss giving you a shoutcast and a game between Crank versus Complexities, the STC here on Neo Planet S. This is game 1 in a best of 3 series. We see STC spawning as the blue Terran player on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Axiom's Crank spawning as the red Protoss on the top right. Now, once more, replays have been difficult to come by, and I have been trying to find some, but all the replay sites that I've been visiting have really been drying out. So, yes, this game was taken back from June. It is part of the WCS, but nothing like looking at older strategies and looking at where we've come from in order to see where we're going and what possible future direction the meta game could be taking. So far, we can see both of these players playing pretty much straight up games, nothing out of the ordinary, no early pressure, high tactic cheese openings, as I'm sure both of these players do have a fair amount of respect from each other, or to each other, knowing that if I try anything too crazy, I may just end up completely falling apart. Now, that does mean that both of these players should be playing a little bit more of an economic game, but what we need to keep track of is the gas timings. Is STC gonna perhaps go for an early refinery, get that early Reaper for pressure tactics? And when is Crank going to be getting his assimilator? Now, Crank is going to be getting that assimilator relatively early, as you can see. Getting that assimilator down early does help you get that mothership core. Mothership core expansions have become very, very popular, as the mothership can both be aggressive and defensive. Now, STC is going for a little bit of a crazy strategy here, and what's gonna really make this look confusing is that Crank is gonna come inside, take a look around, and he's automatically gonna assume it is gonna be a command center first, or a command center after no gas. You can see Crank now wandering around here as this probe is just trying to run around. Oh, what's happening as the SCV now trying to block here? What's going to be going down that probe now wandering around here? It looks like this SCV wants to try and build a command center, but Crank is doing a good job blocking it. He's now backing away, and now there you go. There's the Marine, and Crank most likely thinks that a Nexus or a command center will be placed down, but instead STC is going to be heading back up the ramp and then depositing those minerals. Little does Crank know that STC is actually going very, very heavy on Marines. We can see a probe is being trained. I'm waiting for a mothership core, which should be incoming as well, in addition to chrono boost, chrono boosting out warp gate. And there you have it. That mothership core is going to be wandering out already. You can see 2 Marines joining in out in the fight, a 3rd Marine there. More Marines going to get trained up here as a bunker is now being placed just beyond sight range. Crank has no idea what's going on. The mothership core is right there, and the mothership core is going to spot this one bunker being placed down. The probes are now making their way over as the Marines are now starting to get up into that position here. Are we going to see some damage being dealt back? There you can go. You can see that the SCVs and the Marines are trying to fight back here. That Marine is not in a good position. The Marine's kind of spaced out a little bit and was not getting in that necessary damage. SCV is trying to finish repairing this bunker. That mothership core needs to get away as the Marines are now all working together. Oh, this could be very bad. One probe does get taken down. Another probe gets taken down there, and the Marines are inside. 3 Marines inside. SCV is repairing the bunker as STC is playing a great game here. Takes down the mothership core, and Crank is now on the run with that stalker. One SCV, excuse me, is currently repairing this bunker here. And I do not believe Crank was expecting this at all. Marines now doing a little bit of firefighting here. Oh, this could be really bad as the Stalkers do outrange here. The Stalkers are going to focus down perhaps the lower hit point units. There goes more probes. Worker kill count up to 5 as the probes are falling one at a time. A new mothership core has come into play. And is this Marine, yes, going to jump inside that bunker there? We are continuing with this high pressure tactic. SCV is not on auto repair, surprisingly enough, as this SCV needs to get away. Oh, jumps inside the bunker just in time to avoid an attack. Beautifully done. And this SCV may just try to rally himself here as we are now looking into an economic game. Harvester count 24 to 18. However, Crank does have something going for him. He has been mining more gas. He is going in for an additional Stargate in the back here. You can see a little bit of damage coming in from all sides. There is the repairing. Oh, beautifully microed again, trying to make sure to just maximize all of that damage, going after that lower hit point Stalker. Is the Stalker going to go? Yes, it will. as the Marines are now going after some of those probes. It looks like another probe will get taken down. A total of 9 workers killed. Let's take a look at the losses. 1,000 resources lost by Crank, as STC opened up with some crazy early aggression that really paid off. His command center is now done. And the only problem is that the STC is currently sitting on 3 barracks, and that is it. While his opponent is already at somewhat tier 3 with a Stargrade training up Oracles, and the Oracles are going to have some very easy times taking down SCVs and Marines. This could be one of those swings here. Can Crank get in enough damage to really pay off? This Oracle just flying around, it does take, I believe, 25 energy to activate the pulsar beam, just like cloaking, and then it continually drains. Here you go. There is the Oracle. It is out for SCV, blood or oil, whatever floats your boat there, as the Marines are now, or one Marine now, trying to engage. That is not a good call, as the Oracle now turns off that pulsar beam, is now backing away. It looks as though another mothership core is off to the back over here. We are going to be adding on an additional building as well. There it goes. That reactor, is it actually going to fall? I believe it may actually fall here. This is a little bit of a miscue, not knowing the DPS on a mothership core, as the Marines are now trying to get shots there. Perhaps we should be repairing there as well. We can see that there are Oracles here, and this double Oracle play by Crank really causing a lot of problems. Worker kill count 7 to 9. The Marines are trying to get some easy shots there. It looks as though there is no missile turret, as the Oracle and the mothership core just air harassment, taking out so many of these units. Crank really enjoying his position right now. You can see that there's an Oracle hiding off over here. Here comes a new Oracle, and it is out for SCVs and Mules again. It looks like it will be able to take them down, as SCV after SCV gets shot down again. Finally, let's take a look. Worker kill count 13 to 9. Harvesters 32 to 29. And Crank has done what he has needed to do in order to get back into this game, looking very strong now, as we are now moving into this mid game. Both sides with relatively hostile harassment armies, but nothing in terms of flat out destruction. I'm gonna walk inside your base and kill you. We are going into double training of medevacs. STC should get a little bit of momentum here once again. We are getting level 1 upgrades, but we are already nearing finishing on that level 1 armor upgrade. That is going to be bad news. No missile turret here, as STC once again comes in with, or comes away with a lot of SCVs lost. Crank killing all of these Marines and SCVs. One Marine trying to run back. Is it going to be able to do anything? No, it is not. It was trying to hope that there wouldn't be enough energy, as we are now looking at Marines simply walking inside the base. However, what can you do there? We are going to go into a bit of an elevator drop up here onto the high ground. And there you have it, Marines dropping up onto the high ground there. That is going to be a little bit of a dangerous play, as the more Marines and Marauders are going to be dropping in again. There you go. The Marines are walking straight in. There is the Photon Overcharge again. One of the strongest abilities here, as the Photon Overcharge pretty much have all of these Marines stuck in between 2 armies, or stuck in between 2 bases. They cannot really hope to engage here. Oh, STC may have a little bit of bad time, losing a handful of Marines while not being careful at all, and STC has to just feel like that range is something so difficult to deal with, as Marines and Marauders simply fall apart. It's easier for Zerglings can just kind of throw away Zerglings, just send them straight into the line of fire, knowing that eventually more Zerglings behind it will get into there. However, the Marines and the Marauders, those early Marines, are much more expensive than those Zerglings. 4 shots to get 50 minerals, as opposed to 2 shots to get 20. All right, Viking now finally in the air, gonna go ahead and clean up an Oracle. There it goes. STC has lost 24 workers compared to 9. He wants to get the damage in. He wants to finish things up, but little does he know, he has already started to fall behind. 47 workers to 38. Medevacs now flying around the far side. Is it going to be able to drop anything into position? There you have it. There is an army back down over here. There is a small engagement force, the photon cannons here, and there is another attack again. There's the pylons. The Marines and the Marauders are going to try to engage. There are 2 Colossus there and Guardian Shield, and with Guardian Shield level 1 armor upgrades, and Guardian Shield and level 1 armor upgrades, those Zealots have a base of 4 armor compared to the 7 damage of a Marine, making it only 3 damage per pop, really minimizing what this Bio army can do. Vikings on the hunt for some more oracles. STC now looking to get perhaps more Vikings into the air. This looked like a command center on the minimap, but it is in fact just 4 supply depots, as we're now transitioning once again. If Crank can hold on to this, if he can defend this attack long enough, which is what he's doing, he should come out ahead. Oh, the medevacs are absorbing a bit of damage there, as the Phoenixes did give a little bit of chase. We now have 6 Vikings in the air, but only 2 medevacs. That is a little bit of a scary proposition. With only 2 medevacs, those Marines and Marauders are going to be taking a lot of damage to those stim packs. You can see now STC is forced to do a bit of a retreat, and now we are looking into third base options. STC does have the larger army by far. Worker supply, he does have the advantage, but definitely a tech advantage for Crank. The fact that he has this many Colossus and also going into Protoss air weapons upgrade, that is tremendously a big deal. All of those Phoenixes going to shoot down those Vikings. The fact that the Vikings will be targeting the Phoenixes instead of naturally targeting the Colossus is also a bit of a problem. Those Vikings, more micro will be needed, and will STC, even if it's just one round, one volley of attack, that could be the difference between victory and defeat here when you're dealing with such high priority targets such as Colossus. There you go, the Vikings going after a Phoenix, and it does get taken down there. Those Phoenixes flying too fast for their own good. Oh, another round. Yes, another Phoenix gets shot down. This is looking really good again for for STC. And Crank is now down by about 22 supply. The Vikings are in position, but we are now going into level 2 armor upgrades, meaning that is going to be that much more deadly. Zealots are sitting at the 7 o'clock expansion location, making sure there is nothing there. One poor probe, unable to start warping in a Nexus. And now this Viking fleet, or this Viking squadron, is getting stronger and stronger. All right, you can see there is an observer keeping track here. The Vikings still flying around. What are they going to be doing next? Medevacs. Are we higher in medevacs? No, we are still only sitting at 2, as a proxy pylon outside the base is going to get shot down. So far, this is looking like a big fight to come in. Are the Vikings going to go after the Colossus? Oh, one Colossus already taken down. There's the engagement. The Phoenix is now engaging the Vikings. Need to focus down the Colossus. There is a huge battle there. The Marauders and the Marines. And there is the force field. Vikings trying to finish off the Colossus. Yes, they are all down. But the Photon Overcharge still providing plenty of cover, as the Terran units are trying to replace themselves. Marauders and Marines, will they get away? Yes, they will. Who has lost more? Protoss has still lost just a bit more, but with that Photon Overcharge, I don't believe STC wants to try and engage again. There are a handful of sentries, but now we are looking at level 2 armor upgrades, as the Vikings really have nothing to go up against except for the Phoenixes. It looks as though, yes, the units are going to fall here. The Marauders and the Marines may try to engage. There is that Mothership Core who should get off another Photon Overcharge. Are we bringing in SCVs? Yes, we are. This is everything, trying to bring in everything. Not quite sure why we're not mining. Oh, we are still mining at that base because there are minerals there. And the SCVs are going to be brought in to absorb a bit of damage. This is everything. Absolutely everything in this next fight. Here you go. SCVs now being brought in as well. There is, however, a beautiful time warp slowing down all the SCVs. The Viking trying to focus out the lost Colossus. It looks like it won't get taken down, and that Colossus is huge in terms of damage. A last-ditch medevac trying to focus down the Colossus, unable to. That Colossus with 3 hit points, 1 time warp, 1 Mothership Core. The difference between a lot of Marines and Marauders dead and only a handful. Here you go, Marauders and Marines still taking down more units. It looks like another Stalker going to get taken down. The Phoenixes are there, though, and even with slight reinforcements, without the necessary medevacs, this is not looking good. It is looking like 34 supply versus 41. The Colossus is still there. Gonna go ahead and try to take down a couple of these Marauders and the Marines. Phoenixes are there to pick up the Marauders and Marines as well. Zealots unable to charge in as the Colossus are slowly backing away. And this is just a war of the world's micro style. And I believe that is it. No more reinforcing units. And Crank now has only a 4 supply difference. However, the Harvester count is a real big difference there. The Colossus hiding behind back over here. Vikings getting shot down. And that may pretty much be the end of it. We are now at 62 to supply compared to 63. Income, Harvester count, 32 to 24. More workers still for the STC somehow, even though he brought over everything. Both of them sitting on one base now, essentially, as the Marines are now trying to play catch up to those Phoenixes. However, Phoenixes, very, very fast units, should not have a problem as the Phoenixes now rush inside a nearly empty base. Medevacs, oh, this could be really bad there. Are we going to see a lot of units falling? A Marauder does get shot down. The Phoenixes with their level 1 weapons upgrades now poking down Marines one at a time. This Phoenix harassment is normally not effective against Terran, but an STC and his refusal to get another missile turret anywhere is maybe a bit of an issue. All right, Phoenix is now going after the Orbital Command. Orbital Command suffering a lot of damage here. Is it going to start to catch on fire? That is the question. All right, here you go. The Orbital Command already down to 500 some odd hit points. It is now on fire in a bad way, as the Orbital Command needs to be repaired. Are the Marines going to be able to get into position? That range is just simply too much, as the Vikings are now being brought over. Coming back around, the Phoenix now engaging. You can see medevacs being brought over, just trying to force those Phoenixes back. And this Orbital Command is going to be repaired once again, no longer suffering critical damage, and will no longer burn apart. All right, Phoenixes have to be very, very careful. SCVs now being transferred over. Mules being called into play here. If STC can really start mining out this location, this would be a huge, huge, huge plus. However, the Orbital Command is currently just stopped here for now, and there is long distance mining going on. STC making a huge mistake, as the Vikings going to engage against perhaps a couple of Phoenixes, and losing one of those Phoenixes in order to take down an SCV. STC still needs to land this Orbital Command. A lot of resources lost there just because of long distance mining, as Crank now behind in terms of resources. Income 640 versus 340. However, that's going to quickly change. But now that Crank also has Psystorm, those Colossus are going to be much, much more protected as well. Marines and Marauders showing up to the party to finish off one lone Zealot. That Zealot gets taken down there. Meanwhile, Marauders and Marines attempting to take down. There is some Psystorms. The Marauders and the Marines trying to back away. There's the engagement. The Vikings are pretty much looking for a target, unable to find any. Where are those Colossus? They may just simply try to walk in and land here and get in some damage. All right, Photon Overcharge. The Vikings need to get back, and it looks like they will be backing away once more. Stalkers are in position. This is not good. The Vikings going to fly through and just suffer a whole bunch of damage needlessly again. Photon Overcharge really showing its colors here, being absolutely, absolutely strong. Another shot from the Viking takes down the Mothership Core, but it does not take very much to finish off or retrain a Mothership Core at all. We are now looking to perhaps get up another Mothership Core. We are warping in a Nexus here. You can see a squadron of Phoenixes once again came in and destroyed. Workers killed 48 to 36. 48 workers lost by the STC. He still is now finally behind in terms of workers by 9. And this game has been a seesaw battle back and forth between these two world-class players. Crank looking to finish the job here. He has High Templars, he has Zealots, he has Archons. And without Ghosts on the field to fight back, this could be over before it really even starts. There is that Psystorm. Is it ready to go? Marauders and the Marines going after a High Templar, unable to do that, or unable to finish that there. It looks as though a small squadron, and yes, they are just trying to burn through a lot of those, a lot of that mana there, but there is still a lot of High Templars ready to go. There is some more Psystorm. There's some more Psystorm. The units are just trying to dance away, but it is raining psionic energy on top of these Marauders and Marines, and that is just pretty much going to be the end of it. Archon's now pretty much going to finish up all of these Marauders and Marines, and there is the GG Game 1 going to Crank. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1. Please stay tuned for Game 2.